This is Dateline Wyoming, produced in the studios of WyoRadio. Dateline Wyoming is a weekly news feature highlighting community issues and events that shape our lives here in Southwest Wyoming. In-depth analysis and interviews with the people behind the headlines. Presented Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. Views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of WyoRadio ownership, management, or those of our sponsors. Time will be made available for responsible dissenting opinion. And now, Dateline Wyoming. Dateline Wyoming is next, following this message.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor because that's a really important job. I would help kids get better and make everything super fun. I'd have a cool waiting room with games, toys, and a huge TV.
If your child is sick over and over again, it could be PI, a serious defect of the immune system. Early testing gives children a chance to dream.
And I'll give every kid a cherry lollipop because that's the best flavor.
Jeffrey Modell Foundation, helping children reach for their dreams. Visit info4pi.org.
Our guests today on Dateline Wyoming are Maxine Yeager and Ryan Rust from the Young at Heart Senior Center in Rock Springs. Maxine and Ryan, welcome to Dateline Wyoming.
Well, thank you for having us, Tom.
Let's just start off with a little history on Young at Heart, where we came from and how we got to where we are today.
The Young at Heart started in 1973. A lot of the authority and funding for senior centers across the nation originated in the Older Americans Act of 1965. We were originally down on Pilot Butte Avenue. From there, we've grown our programs and our offerings. The size of the center has increased and the patrons that we serve. In 2009, through a huge community effort, we've got a brand new building out on Reagan Avenue. It's a beautiful facility. I think one of the nicest senior centers in the state by far. It's a great organization. We've moved up from just a very basic senior center to now providing 12 main programs. Those include things like congregate meals, home-delivered meals, special diets program, in-home services programs. We do respite care, home health nursing, education and socialization programs. We have a great child care facility on site. We work with the VISTA program, Volunteers in Service to America. Many programs that we coordinate with the community and provide services to seniors.
Tell us a little bit about your staff.
We have currently about 55 staff members. Lots of those are people who work in homes in the community, people who go out and do nursing care. We have individuals who do light housework. We do some respite care where lots of people who are taking care of individuals who need a little bit of assistance, family members, neighbors, who really need to get a break every now and then and take care of themselves. We have folks who go into the homes and help take care of the individuals that they're looking after, and so that's a big portion of our staff. And then of course we have those folks who serve the patrons that come into the center and utilize the services there. And great organization. We have a lot of really caring people who really have their goal of helping seniors age with dignity and providing the services that they need.
We've mentioned the fact that it is a senior center. However, it looks to me like your mission has evolved to a much wider concept for the community.
That's absolutely the case. And a few years ago, the board really had a big push to open this up to more members of the community. We do still focus on providing services for senior citizens in the community, but with our child care center, with a number of the programs that we have, we do really want it to be a community center where people can come and be engaged and take part in all of the services we provide. We also rent out the facility. We've got rooms of all sorts of different sizes for various events. We've got a large dining room that's perfect for wedding receptions and various other events, and we can provide catering. So there really has been a big push to get lots of people involved in the center.
What would you say your primary services are?
The meals that we serve are a big portion of what we do. Very important, and the kitchen puts out some really fantastic meals, and I hope that the community comes out and takes part in that program. Along with those come all the socialization and education services at meal times, and also before and after. We have a lot of great classes, a lot of exercise activities, card games. There's always something going on for people. So that socialization, education, and meal services is a huge focus in the center. And then out in the community, of course, our in-home services is a huge program along with our home health that really helps those people who are homebound or need a little bit of additional help.
It's no secret that our population is aging. It would seem to me that this provides a really great way for people to maintain their quality of life and be able to maintain their lifestyle to a large extent.
Absolutely. And, the cost to put a loved one into assisted living facilities and nursing care facilities is enormous, and taxpayers take a huge portion of the brunt of those payments, as well as the families who are already struggling to care for their loved ones. And so a lot of the services that we provide at Young at Heart really are geared towards a low-cost solution that allows people to stay in their homes and age with dignity. And it really is fantastic. As you said, the population is aging. Certainly what senior centers are seeing across the nation, and this is going to be the biggest challenge in the coming years, is that baby boomers do not participate in senior center activities at the same rate as their parents did. And we have a population who's a little bit healthier. Baby boomers tend to be working a little bit longer. So getting those folks engaged in the services that senior centers provide really will help to support the community and provide some of those additional funding sources for those people who are in their homes and require the in-home services that we do provide.
One of the issues today is the fact that the family unit is breaking down and it isn't what it used to be. It looks to me like you're offering an opportunity for that family unit or that experience to come back to seniors as they age.
Absolutely. And we really want to stress that if you've got a younger relative that you'd like to bring into the center with you, we absolutely encourage that. And we do have a number of younger folks who come in and take part in the meals programs or who will sit in classes with their parents. We work with a number of organizations in the community that do bring in younger folks for some classes, and we really want to build that civic engagement and that family support for the programs. If you want to come in and eat, we have a new program for our lunch that I'd love to talk about a little bit more, but it costs a $4 suggested donation for seniors 60 and above to come and eat. It's $6 if you're under 60 to come and eat. And so a very small charge to come and have a great meal, to hear some of the presentations and take part in some great activities.
That is available 5 days a week?
Yep, 5 days a week. We serve lunch in the facility from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. Like I said, it's a really great lunch. We also have Monday night dinners, which are $5 per person, irregardless of age. Really great, always programs going on and presentations for those as well, and we encourage everybody to come out.
Talk about the presentations a little bit.
Well, they're very diverse. We want to focus on some of the issues that senior citizens really care about. So certainly there's discussions about Medicare. We have people from AARP coming and talking about various things. There's preparation for end-of-life services, the real important issues that seniors care about. But we've also tried to expand some of those offerings and really just engage the community with the various services out there. I know we have some business owners who come in and talk about some of the products that they have that offer that could really benefit people. The BLM has come in and given presentations. We have people from community colleges come in and give presentations on all sorts of various wildlife. We just had a great presentation on pendulums from a professor with Western Wyoming Community College that I think people really, really were engaged in.
If you would talk a little bit about the importance of partnerships within the community, and then also let's talk about your volunteerism.
We are successful in what we do because we have a lot of great partnerships in the community. We work, of course, with the State Aging Division for a lot of the services that we provide, and the Wyoming Senior Services Board. But we also receive a lot of support from the City of Rock Springs, from Sweetwater County. The United Way provides a lot of grant funding for some of the programs that we do, and they're very supportive of us. We work with the Good 360 program. The Home Depot provides some donated items that people can come and pick up if they don't have the money to do some home improvement projects. Again, partner with AARP, Sweetwater County Museum, Experience Works, the college. There's just so many organizations that we partner with, and that really allows us to be successful. We're always looking for new partnerships, so if you're a community member who has something that you think would be of value to offer to senior center or to the community in general, we absolutely would invite you to stop by and make that contact. When it comes to volunteers, that's absolutely a huge part of what we do. Last year, we had approximately 30,000 volunteer hours donated to the center. They're doing everything from home-delivered meals, which is a really great program. Those people who can't get out and have a great lunch, we deliver a hot meal to them every day. And the people who deliver those meals just love going out and talking with the folks who receive them. And those folks who do get the meals really enjoy that social interaction that they have. All sorts of activities that we utilize volunteer services for, and it's a really great opportunity. If you have any time to give to the center, we certainly hope that you'll stop by and see what you can do for us.
You mentioned a couple of sources of funding, but talk a little bit, if you will, just about what your funding is for the Senior Center.
This year we're experiencing some cuts, as everybody is. We have a $1.9 million budget this year. It's about $100,000 in funding cuts that we've received. So a little bit over 5%, pretty substantial. About 13% of that funding is from federal sources. 17% is from the state of Wyoming. 15% comes from the county. 2% is from the city, and that 2% doesn't accurately reflect the support that we get from the city of Rock Springs. It's a city-owned building, and they partner with us on lots of things, so we appreciate that. 53% of our funding comes from other grants within the community, from donations, from fundraisers that we do. But it has become tough this year as the economic downturn has hurt everybody. And of course, what we're seeing with the economic downturn is that folks who used to be able to support their aging parents either don't have the funding that they used to because they've lost their jobs or they've moved out of the state. And so while funding has been cut, we're also seeing an increasing demand for some of these services that we provide to people. And that makes it a little bit difficult to meet those demands. We also see that a lot of the grants that we apply for are based on the number of services that we provide. And so when we get cut funding, we can't always provide the same amount of services that we've previously provided. And then that happens to result in a cut in funding the next year. And so it kind of snowballs. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that we provide the same level of services that we've always provided, and really looking at efficiencies so that we can make that money stretch and really help out those people in the community who need it.
What priorities do you use when you start looking at those programs that you're going to have to either discontinue or curtail?
The staff have absorbed a large portion of that, and like I said, we've got a really great staff who's very passionate about providing services. It has resulted in some positions being cut and some hours being reduced, but we do want to ensure that we provide the same services to the seniors in the community. And I would say when we look at priorities, it's always those folks for me who require a little bit extra. If you're a homebound senior and you need those in-home services, or you need that nursing care, you need a home-delivered meal, those are the people that we really want to be sure that we do everything we can to meet their needs first. And once those are taken care of, then we'll look everywhere else for where we can make some efficiencies.
It's a real catch-22. You have a decrease in your funding and your budgeting ability. At the same time, it increases the need for your services from within the community.
Absolutely, and that's something that I think all social service organizations are dealing with right now. It's just that the problem with social services is that when funding becomes tight, those demands increase. But I think it's especially concerning for senior citizens who don't always have other avenues to take care of some of their needs. And they're a group who's given so much throughout their life, and I think we have a real responsibility to support them any way we can.
Dateline Wyoming with Maxine Yeager and Ryan Rust from Young at Heart Senior Center in Rock Springs continues after this message.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Dateline Wyoming now continues. What do you see as some of the primary issues that concern senior citizens?
Well, certainly the rising cost of healthcare is always a big issue. I hear lots of discussion about Medicare, and there's always concerns about what it's going to look like in the future. Certainly the costs of prescription medication that continues to increase is a huge concern for a lot of folks.
Maxine, can we bring you into the conversation here? I thought we talked some of the events and programs that we've got coming up over the coming year.
A lot of what we do to keep the center moving and functioning in a way that's good for the community is we do a lot of fundraising. We do a lot of different types of programs to draw in more community interest. My part is to coordinate that with the staff and with the community.
You're actually kind of between offering services and, for lack of a better word, entertainment, plus also fundraising in terms of funds to operate the center.
In order to keep the center moving forward and being able to provide the services that we want to provide for the community, we are constantly looking for new types of programming that will interest people. We're also looking for community support in the forms of donations or fundraisers that we put together to interest the community. One of the neater programs we got coming up soon is a Remember When that we've started honoring Sweetwater County. And each fourth Monday night, we have a special presentation about the history of Sweetwater County. And that's brought in quite a lot of folks that want to learn more about the coal camps, railroad, and how different parts of history, like the 56 nationalities, have impacted Sweetwater County.
A lot of us have been interested in the history of Rock Springs, and the seniors in our community offer a great resource for letting us tap into that information and that history.
Well, and another thing is we're coordinating this with Overland Elementary School and with the Sweetwater County Museum and the Rocket Miners. So we have a lot of community input, and the children are coming over to the senior center for a lunch on the day that we have the event, and they're getting the intergenerational interactions with the seniors. And so it's kind of bridging that gap between age discrepancies, and it's giving them an interesting topic for the children to learn, but also for the seniors to share.
Can you just take us through, maybe, if there's such a thing, a typical week at Young at Heart as to what's going on on a daily basis?
Well, we have our daily lunches, and we generally have some event going on every day. So we'll have Zumba classes, stretch and move, Tai Chi, painting and craft classes. We have pool tables available at all times. We have a monthly pool tournament. There's line dancing, memoir writing. And so we have also some free classes, which are the exercise classes, and some low-cost college classes that are available. We also have the Monday night dinners. We generally have a presenter every Monday night, which will talk about something that's related to the community. And then on the fourth Monday night, we have the Remember When. Our next one will actually be on the outlaws of Wyoming. And so we're working on a special presenter that will be here in January that will talk about Wyoming's outlaw history. And then we generally have different fundraisers going on every month. We'll be doing a Care for Critters program, and that will start up a program where we're asking for help, kind of like a tree of sharing. People can come in and pick a tag off of a tree and find out how they can help a senior with pet needs. Some people don't understand the importance of companionship for the pets of these seniors, and for some, that's their family.
And as they have issues with being able to take care of themselves, you also have to remember that if they have pets, that's a huge part of what their lives are.
It is, and we've had some of our seniors that if they've had a vet issue come up, that they'll forego getting their medications or taking care of themselves to get their pet healthy. And so this program that's hosted by AARP is to help with these vet needs and pet care for some of the seniors on fixed incomes.
Give us a rundown, if you will, some of the other primary fundraisers you have through the year.
Some of our big fundraisers that we have are Casino Fever, where we host a casino night in April. Great community support for that. Many of the businesses in town will sponsor that event with prizes or cash prizes. Then we sell tickets, and people come in and actually have a real casino night with a craps table and blackjack and everything. And then we also have a golf tournament that we host in June. And we have a wonderful program where we're introducing culture to the community with a cowboy poetry that will take place in May at Mother's Day. We bring in presenters from different areas in Wyoming to share their music and their poetry. We have a wonderful lineup this year. Kevin McNiven and Jared Rogerson are two of the great features this year, and very talented folks. And so you come in, you have a nice dinner, and you get to enjoy the music and poetry.
We mentioned healthcare as an issue that seniors are concerned about. What kind of programs are you doing for that?
I am the ARP coordinator for Sweetwater County, and so I work very closely with the ARP program. Right now, we are going to be teaching a diabetic empowerment class throughout January and February. It's a free class to help people with their diabetes. We will bring in special guest, registered nurse, dietitian, a pharmacist, and it allows for small group time and one-on-one time for a patient that's been diagnosed with diabetes to have time to further understand how they can take care of themselves and how they can manage their diabetes, and have that one-on-one time with a professional. Many times when you go to the doctor's office, you don't get all those questions answered. And so we offer this program to assist in them taking power of taking care of themselves.
Putting them more in charge and giving them the freedom of managing their own situation.
Yes, and the skills they need.
Are there other programs related to healthcare?
We also have a reduced cost blood monitoring available that we do every other month. Very affordable. You can get your A1C checked for $12. You can get your cholesterol and glucose screenings done for $20. That's less money than it takes to even pay your deductible or your copayment at a doctor's office. And we do that with our health nurse there at the facility the fourth Thursday of every other month. But you can call the center at any time and make an appointment to get in for those screenings.
If there was one thing you'd like people to know about Young at Heart, what would that be?
The biggest thing about Young at Heart is something that you touched on earlier. It is a family atmosphere. I really noticed after we had experienced the flood and were closed for a couple of weeks, how important we are to the folks in the community. They miss us. We are their family. And I hear that said quite often by the people who come in and visit us every day. We're their family. The days we're not there, they miss us. It's very welcoming. Everyone cares. We join together and do many great fun events together and kind of just support one another socially and emotionally.
Why don't you run us back through that flood situation real quickly? Because I think the community really came together and gave you some support during that time, didn't they?
It was a wonderful experience. The flood itself was a terrible experience, but the outpour of the community was just enlightening. We had several organizations that provided offices for us, that provided space for our daycare, kitchens so that we could prepare the Meals on Wheels items for our people that were homebound. In fact, the community jumped right in, and within 24 hours, we were already taking care of our homebound people. Within a couple of days, we had placement for the children.
So how long were you actually closed?
Right around a month.
You have a website and you have some contact information, don't you?
We have a website. We have a Facebook page. The website is youngatheartcenter.org. And then the Facebook page is Young at Heart Community Center.
What are we going to find if we go to the website?
You'll find the menus. You'll find whatever activities we're doing. You'll find ways to volunteer, ways to make donations. As you understood from earlier, we rely heavily on our community to support us. And every donation is appreciated, and every service hour is appreciated.
And there's a phone number they could call for more information?
307-352-6737.
Thinking about your meal program, I understand you have a new grant with that, and there have been some changes in your meal program.
That's true. We did receive a grant from the state of Wyoming. It's called the C1 grant for our congregate meals. Those are the meals that we serve at lunchtime in-house. We've always served those meals for many years, but what this grant does is provides a little bit of supplemental funding. It's about $2.50 for each meal that we serve from the state. With that program, it goes to a donation-only basis, so for seniors 60 and over, we are asking a suggested donation of $4, which is the same amount that we charged before. But if you don't feel like you can afford that at a certain time, you're more than welcome to come in and eat for whatever price you can afford. If you are, in fact, a senior who is 60 or over, it's a really great program to provide some nutrition assistance to people who really need that. And it's also really focused on getting some socialization out there as well. Socialization is extremely important for people's health and well-being. Come out and have a great meal at the center. You also get to visit with people and learn about some new activities. All of the menus that we develop for our lunch program are overseen by a registered dietitian. They have to meet strict dietary guidelines. We have to provide 1/3 of your daily requirement for all sorts of nutrition concerns. It's fantastic. We've had a lot of great support, but we really do need to emphasize that getting those donations at around that $4 level is going to be very important for us. It costs around $11.50 to make each meal when you consider the cost of the staff, the food costs that continue to rise, the cost for the janitorial services and waste. There's a lot that goes into providing those meals, so the supplemental funding that we're receiving, while helpful, is not enough to pay for the full meal, and so we really do encourage people to give at least the $4 if they can, and if they can't, we absolutely welcome you to come into the center and have a meal.
Again, I guess maybe we should say that if you have a friend, we're not going to discriminate against younger people because of their age.
Absolutely not. We invite younger people to come in. Because of the nature of the grant, if you are under 60, we do charge $6 as opposed to the donation. $6 for the meal you're getting is a just fantastic deal, and we really hope that you can come in and enjoy that time with the seniors of the Sweetwater County.
Ryan, any final thoughts this morning?
Just like to thank you, Tom, for having us here, and I'd like to thank the community for all the support that they give Young at Heart, and for all the patrons who come in and make it a really great place, the great staff that really works hard to make sure that the needs of our seniors are met. It's a great organization. I'm very honored to be a part of it, and certainly if you can come in and help out anyway, we'd welcome you to do so, or to take part in our programs, come in and have a lunch and visit with folks. Lucky to have such an organization in Sweetwater County.
Maxine.
Just keep in mind that the Young at Heart Center is a community place for the young and the young at heart. So we include everyone. Come in, give your time, donate your time, your money, and efforts, and we'll keep going. We'll keep making this a great place for our community.
Maxine and Ryan, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you, Tom.
I'll look at next week's Dateline Wyoming after this message.
I punch in when it's dark and go home after the sun sets, but I'm not complaining. I was tough enough to raise a family on my own. I'm also tough enough to quit tobacco. I liked the smoke breaks, but I didn't want to miss seeing my grandkids grow up. I called the Wyoming Quit Tobacco program and worked with a quit coach to make a custom plan with free gum and patches. That call doubled my chances of quitting, and I haven't looked back because I have a lot to look forward to. Call 1-800-QUIT now.
Brought to you by the Wyoming Department of Health.
Next week, our guest will be Dave Hanks from the Rock Springs Chamber of Commerce, taking a look at the upcoming legislative session in Cheyenne. You have been listening to Dateline Wyoming with your host, Tom Ellis. Dateline Wyoming is a public affairs presentation of WyoRadio News, presented every Sunday at this time, highlighting community issues and events that shape our lives here in Southwest Wyoming. Views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of WyoRadio ownership, management, or that of our sponsors. Time will be made available for responsible dissenting opinion. Audio copies of this program will be available each Monday following the program's airtime on Sunday at youtube.com/WyoRadio.